It's a happy good morning time. Good morning or afternoon, whatever time of day you're into. It's late morning where I am, and I'm feeling bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, blurry-eyed and flat-bottomed, all of that. In any case, I'm here to check in with my body, do a little playful movement, a little breathing in and out, a little letting go of stress, shaking things off like water off a duck's back, just letting things roll off me. And I invite you to join me if you feel like it, to whatever degree you feel like it. Whatever you do, I hope you remember to give yourself a little love, give yourself a little playful movement. Jiggle around a little bit, wiggle around a little bit, shake things off a little bit, take the trash out. I'm going to take a couple breaths, bring my attention into the bottoms of my feet. Feel like wiggling those shoulders around a lot more, wiggling the legs. I'm going to bend from the hips. I think it might be just warm enough in here to take off the outer layer. Bending from the hips with a relatively flat back. I'm going to swan dive down and just hang here. Give it a nice sigh. Give it a nice shaking out. Letting gravity do some unwinding. Relaxing the belly, relaxing the back. Just hanging here from the hips. Then I'm going to come up left elbow over right. Pulling back in the abdomen, up in the pelvic floor. Give myself a nice hug. Pulling those shoulder blades apart, rounding the spine. And then releasing all that again from the hips. Hanging here, shaking it out, and then coming up again, this time right elbow over left. Pulling back in the abdomen, up in the pelvic floor. Get a big ka-chunk in those shoulders as I pull those shoulder blades apart. Give myself a nice hug. Rounding. Enjoying that roundness. And then again with a flat back. Hanging from the hips. I got into that rounding. It almost fell over backwards. That was kind of fun. Come over to the left, pulling with both hands on that left leg for a little mild twist. Just exploring that through the spine. And then back to center. Then over to the right. Got a lot of ka-chunking on that side. I think my rib is finally starting to mend and things are adjusting there. So trying to make sure I give a lot of good stretching to those muscles. Come back to center. I'm going to roll up, pushing from the feet. Roll, stacking each vertebra on the next. Just checking in with the spine. Whoa, shake that out. Let's do some little, medium, and big circles, starting with little fingers on wrists. Just checking in with the little bones. Often expect those little guys to do the most work for the least appreciation. Just checking in with them. Indeed, I get a lot of numbness and achiness in my hands and arms, so I tend to tune them out. That's why I benefit from a lot of shaking and sometimes smoothing. Add that on each arm. Just dissipating dislodged energy, balancing out the energy. Let's do medium circles from the shoulders. Breathing in on the way up. And exhaling on the way down. also tense up on the way up, breathing in, holding at the top, and then just letting that go. Let's go the other way, circling up. And then releasing, circling down and back. And again, medium circle. Shake that out on the bottom. One more big medium circle. Shaking that out. And then I'm going to make those big circles with the whole hands, adding the legs. Still breathing in on the way up and exhaling on the way down. Got some ka-chunk still. I'm going to shake that out. Give just a little bit of a push back here because things are trying to realign. And then I'm going to go the other way, starting back. Breathing in and up and then releasing down the front. Breathing in, filling the lungs, lifting the chest, and then squeezing all that out. One more. Big circle, breathing in, circling the arms, and then squeezing that out. Do some more shaking it out. I'm going to do another swan dive down with a relatively flat back from the hips. Just hanging here. Relaxing through the low back. Relaxing through the belly. And then bending the knees, swinging the arms back, coming into that counter stretch, lifting the chest, lifting the eyes, pushing the hips forward. And coming back to neutral. The arms swing a little bit. And bring hands behind the back, clasping palms, rolling the shoulder blades together, rolling elbows together, pulling down on the fingertips, pushing forward on the hips. Enjoying that nice counter stretch and then coming forward again with a relatively flat back. Making sure not to lock those knees, bending from the hips and bringing these hands with me. Just going to enjoy some active stretching, pulling with those hands, still rolling the shoulders towards each other. Drawing my imaginary triceratops line back here. I've got some hitches in my giddy up through there, so I'm just being gentle and exploring them, giving the body an opportunity to relax a little bit. Let's twist that over to the left a little, pulling with the fingers, just gently, not painfully, and over to the right, looking to the left, and then back to center. Lifting, pushing through the feet, lifting with those fingers, and coming again into that counter stretch. Pulling down with the palms. Protecting the neck a little bit with those shoulders. And then letting all that go. Shake it out to the left and shake it out to the right. I'm going to step back with the left foot, bring that back hip forward, forward hip back a little bit, tipping the tailbone under, looking for a perpendicular line through the hips, parallel lines with the feet, pushing into that back hip. I'm trying not to slide out of control, like getting a little bit deeper, looking for about a 90-degree angle on that front leg. Bringing the hands up overhead, making sure not to crunch up in those shoulders. I'm going to bring the hands down, still keeping the shoulders rolled down and back, and bringing those fingertips into my sharp focus. I'm going to follow the left finger as I open the hips by shifting that back heel forward onto the perpendicular plane. Swinging this knee open, opening this hip. I'm going to slide this back foot out just a little bit more. Enjoying this side plane here. And then I'm going to bend from the hips, sliding that back foot out a little bit more. Coming into a side twisting triangle, using my right arm and leg against each other for torque, making sure not to collapse. Thank you for the love, I do appreciate it. I'm bringing this arm around the back to reach for this opposite thigh, and gazing down past that long leg, giving all those organs a nice little hug, an internal squeeze or wringing out. Enjoying some more wringing out of the spine as well. I'm going to unwind all of that and bring both hands down on the inside of this right leg. Enjoying a nice deep lunge. Bringing weight onto those hands. And then bringing that front foot back to meet the back foot. Pressing through the palms, through the spine. I'm going to move this blanket because it's slipping. Tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head. Pushing into those heels. Bend the right knee and push more into that left heel. And then bend the left knee, pushing into the right. And again, bending the right, pushing into the left. And pushing more into the right. And then pushing back into both heels again. Tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head. Pressing the heart toward the earth. Pressing the heels toward the earth. And then I'm going to swing the body forward, lifting the chest through the shoulders, keeping those legs together. Lifting the eyes and the chest, keeping those elbows in close to the body, keeping those legs together, and just letting the belly relax. And lifting those hips again, pushing back through the palms, into the heels. Tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head. Doing a nice long stretch down the backs of the legs. And then I'm going to swing this left foot forward in between the hands for a nice deep lunge. Don't forget to breathe and smile, whatever else you're doing. I'm going to bring weight onto this front foot. Bring this back foot forward to meet the front foot. And hang here in a forward fold again. Then the spine unwind. Shake out the head a little bit. Shake out the shoulders a little bit. And then I'm going to roll up, stacking one vertebra on the next again. Just checking in with the spine. Shake that out up here. And then I'm going to step back with the right foot. I got hair in my mouth somewhere. Pulling that back hip forward, forward hip back, tipping the tailbone under, pushing into that back heel, looking for a perpendicular line with the hips, parallel lines with the feet. I'm going to slide that back foot out a little bit more, looking for a little deeper lunge, and bring these arms up overhead, making sure not to crunch up in those shoulders. Still trying to push into that back heel. Tipping the tailbone under, pulling up through the abdomen and spine. And then bringing those hands down, keeping the shoulders down and back. Bringing my gaze onto my fingertips with sharp focus. And I'm going to follow my right finger across the body as I move my heel forward onto the perpendicular line. And coming into this side plane, opening the hips by swinging the knee this way, rotating the hip this way, checking out this side plane, and then bending from the hip, sliding that back foot out a little bit further and using that left hand and leg against each other for torque, raising the right arm to gaze past those fingertips. Enjoying a side triangle or aeroplane pose, as I like to call it, and then bringing this hand around the back to reach for this opposite thigh and gazing down past that long leg. Enjoying a nice wringing out of all those internal organs of the spine. A nice internal hug for everybody. Just relaxing into that for a breath or so, and then unwinding all of that. Bringing both hands down on the inside of that left leg and bringing weight onto the hands. Bringing that leg back to meet the back leg. And again, pushing through the palms, through the spine, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head. Pushing into those heels. Pressing the heart toward the earth, pressing the heels to the earth. I'm going to swing the body forward again, slowly lifting the chest up through the shoulders, sliding those feet back a little bit more on the toes, and lifting the chest and eyes and head, letting the belly drop, keeping those legs together, kind of protecting the low back by pulling the butt and legs together, but trying to relax the belly, pushing up through the palms. You can kind of explore that stretch just a little bit by rocking on the toes of those back feet, since you don't have front feet. Guess those would be your hands. Lifting the hips again, pushing through the palms, through the spine, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head. Pressing the heels into the earth, pressing the heart toward the earth. And then swinging that right leg forward in between the hands for a nice deep lunge on that side. I like to bounce a little bit on that deep lunge, but I am using my hands for support to take a little of that weight. Make sure and listen to your own body and do what feels good to you. I do encourage you to explore, maybe sometimes a little past your comfort zone, but never to the point of painfulness. I'm going to step forward with this back foot and hang here one more time in forward fold. Letting go of the spine, letting go of the neck, letting go of the shoulders, and then bending the knees, swinging the arms back, coming into a counter stretch, lifting the chest, lifting the eyes, pushing the hips forward, and then bringing all that back to neutral. Shake that out. Hoo-wah, yes, it's looking like a nice day out there. Do some free arm swinging. Ha! Ha! Don't forget to let go of some stress whenever you can, and also, if you take good care of yourself, you can lift your threshold on how much stress you can manage. So I think it's important to do both. Let go of stress, not stress as much. Find ways of not stressing and letting go. And also finding ways of increasing your capacity to deal with stress, as stresses are bound to come up. That's life. I hope you remember and give yourself a break today. Take a little time to love yourself. Remember that you are worthy of your own unconditional love. First, foremost, always, always. It's the best thing that you can do for anybody else that you love, too. Thank you for stopping by. Let me know what you're up to. Peace.